Hi everyone, I wanted to do a follow-up video. I've had a few more emails and messages from some of you on LinkedIn and Twitter, and I wanted to give the opportunity to try and answer your CIPD qualification questions. So I've received this week from a lady called Nina. So hi Nina, thanks very much for your email to me. I just wanted to run through Nina's questions. So she's asked about the big one, the CIPD level 7 qualification, and ultimately how I've managed to achieve that. Now, just to be clear, I've only finished the certificate in at level 7. I'm actually studying the diploma as we speak, and I will have finished my final exam is in September. So I haven't actually finished the entire course yet, so I have to make sure that I'm being clear when I'm doing these videos so that I'm not misleading any of you in any way. So the question that Nina had was around that she's interested in doing the level 7 course but wants to understand what the experience is like and how that's then transferred into the career, so to speak. So first of all, I'll answer the question in two parts. So first of all, everybody has a different reason for studying or deciding to commit to a CIPD level 7. Remember, it is the equivalent of a master's degree. This isn't a walk in the park qualification. It takes a lot of dedication and commitment. So first of all, my first piece of advice would be make sure you've done your research. And if you've gone from a level 3, which is the foundation, and gone straight to a level 7, I think you're going to find that quite a jump, because I know that I did myself. So that's why I decided to study the level 5, which kind of bridges in between before then committing to the level 7, because one, I got familiar with the ways and means of writing. It's a completely different style at level 5 and level 7. Level 3 is that foundation. It's more of an introduction, but level 7, you have to write very academically. Now, I'm not naturally or a very natural academic, so I do find that really hard to get into the flow of doing that. But once I'm in and I'm kind of working away, then generally it's absolutely fine. But it's understanding what the difference is between those 3 levels before you then decide on committing what level is right for you. Level 7 is by all means the one that most aspire to, especially if you do want to become CIPD qualified. It is your step into the chartered level of membership with the CIPD. But additionally, you have the actual qualification itself is the equivalent to that master's degree. So do remember at what level you're studying. Now, I've been in HR, it will be 14 years, and even with all the experience and knowledge that I have, it's still very much a challenge. And I think that it does need to be, or you need to be mindful that that is a particular challenge. So the journey isn't straightforward. I will confess it has been a bit of a roller coaster from a personal perspective, but it is very much worthwhile. I've actually learned a lot of skills that I wouldn't have learned whilst I was working in the operational HR environment. So it is very beneficial to understand the theories that underpin the profession, because then it does transfer into the practicalities of the day-to-day operational HR, if you like. So you do need to be very much aware that, yes, we do have our levels of experience, especially if you come into it later on like I did. But it was more, personally, it was more for financial reasons as to why I didn't go into straight away into studying the level 7, because yes, it can be expensive. So that's why I decided to do mine via distance learning. So I wasn't sponsored to do my certificate in level 7. Neither was I at level 3 or 5. So they've all been self-funded courses. To be honest with you, that's made it a lot more worthwhile, because I've invested my own money and my own time to be able to achieve those qualifications. So it is really important. And after, you see, the success of the blog, I was helped out by ICS and sponsored to do the top up from the certificate to the diploma. So a little thank you to Team ICS for sponsoring me to do that. And I'm working very closely with them as a brand ambassador. So I think these opportunities do present themselves when they're ready. And I think whatever you put into a career, you will get out of it. So you do need to make sure that you are focused in the right areas. So going back to the level 7, so the differences that I found between the level 5 and the level 7 was that the level 5 was very operationally, I felt a lot more comfortable, shall we say, doing my level 5 because it was all about the operational HR. I really enjoyed the recruitment module mostly because at the time I was doing a lot of recruitment and it was like second nature to me, so I could just pull everything together and I was managing to get everything done relatively quickly. And then when I went into level 7, I was like, oh my gosh, it's quite overwhelming at first, especially when you log on to the ICS portal for the first time, or whatever provider you've got, you'll end up with all of these materials that you need to read through. Take your time familiarising yourself with all of that. Make use of the useful tools that we have. So the CIPD library, a lot of people forget that we've got an A to Z of fact sheets on the CIPD website. There's a lot of journals and a lot of useful resources. Don't believe everything that you read online. Make sure that you do your research and you're comfortable with that structure before you even get started. So I wouldn't swap my journey. So upon reflection, I wouldn't swap that journey at all. I think that it came at the right time for me. I think that I was at a mature stage of my career and I fully understood what I was getting into, which has then helped me to provide all of these quirky HR videos for you all. But additionally, it's really helped for me to develop as a person as well. So I'm a lot more structured and strategically thinking as I do my work in my everyday life. So it is beneficial to do the qualification. A lot of people will say, oh gosh, it's, I've done this for X amount of years, I don't think that it's relevant to me. It totally is. It really is that relevant to you. And the reason that I say that is because we all need to invest in our continuing professional development, or CPD. And if we're not doing that, then ultimately we're going to stagnate in our careers or in our ways of thinking. This encourages us to actively think outside the box and think, well, actually, what is our contribution to our organisations? And ultimately, how are we investing in ourselves to be able to keep that progression going? We spend our lives advising people to develop themselves, to encourage that motivation and everything else. And if we're not practicing what we preach, then I don't feel that that fits with what our profession stands for. So ultimately, I do make sure that I'm quite happy doing the studies, because it is really important for you to enjoy what you do. But also it opens up so many possibilities to you, especially when you get to that level of chartered membership, or that you get that certificate or that diploma or whatever that might be, whatever your aspirations are. Make sure that they are right for you and that you're happy to be able to do your studies. I hope that helps answer this week's question. I am going to do some more. I'm getting quite a few now, so I'll make sure that I'm getting them answered relatively quickly. So I may even have to end up doing a couple of these videos twice a week. But if you want to get in touch with me, as I said, feel free to tweet me at Natalie Ellis HR on Twitter, or connect with me on LinkedIn. So again, I'm at Natalie Ellis. So you'll see my picture on LinkedIn, or you can comment on the blog. So that's natalieellishr.com. I'll be quite happy to do one-to-one Skype calls if anybody would like to have some one-on-one time with me and establish whether CIPD qualification is right for you, or if there's any other random questions about career development or how to get yourself out there in terms of your personal and professional brand. I'm also happy to do that with you. So I'm going to sign off for now. Keep the questions coming. Thank you very much for visiting the blog, and I look forward to answering more of your questions next week. Take care. Bye.